What do you mean by mama slapped you? Alex asked his wife, trying to understand what she was saying. Your mother slapped me. It's either she leaves this house or I leave this minute, Juliana said and stood up from where she was seated. How dare my mother lay her hands on my pregnant wife after coming to my house uninvited? She's going to give me an answer tonight, Alex said out aloud and stormed into his mother's room without knocking. Mama, where did you slap my wife? Alex asked his mother, who was sitting down on the bed inside the guest room. I heard all you said, Alex. You said I came to your house uninvited. Alex, I gave birth to just you and your sister. When you were struggling with life, when you had nothing, I toiled alone after the death of your father to send you to school. I was the one who raised money for you to move to the city. I will always be waiting for the day my son will come back to the village. You come back to the village without letting me know. You always tell me that you want to surprise me. You always tell me you don't want me to be bothered because you know I will always call you every minute to be sure you are coming home safely. Mrs. Abisola said, and a tear rolled down her cheeks. Your wife said I slapped her. You didn't ask her what she did. You didn't even ask to hear my own side of the story, if I slapped her or not. You just believe her and called me an uninvited guest. Okay, if you want me out of your house, then I will be leaving tomorrow morning, Mrs. Abisola said and laid on the bed. Mama, please don't go. I'm so sorry for the way I reacted. Please give me some time to think, Alex said to his mother, but she wasn't willing to talk to him any longer. She just lay there with tears streaming down her cheeks. Alex was emotional and didn't know what to do next. There was his mother crying because of the way he spoke to her after all her sacrifices for him. Now, his wife, who is pregnant with his child, claims his mother had slapped her. He walked out of the guest room and met his wife holding a little bag. I'm leaving this house for you and your mother. You both can enjoy yourselves, Juliana said and walked towards the door. Alex immediately reached out for the key to the door. He locked the door immediately and put the keys into his pocket. Then he walked back into his room without saying anything. Juliana was so happy. Her friend Kate is such a genius. Everything she had planned is going exactly as she told her. The next step is to turn her mother-in-law into her house help, which will force her to go back to the village. She wiped her crocodile tears and went back into her matrimonial room. She laid on the bed beside her husband. Alex tried to talk to his wife all night, but she ignored him and warned him not to touch her. The next day, Juliana woke up by 5:30 a.m. in the morning. Instead of making breakfast for her husband, she went into the living room and switched on the television. After watching for a while, she increased the volume so it could wake everyone sleeping. Alex woke up and saw his wife watching a movie. He greeted her, but she didn't respond to him. He couldn't stand another drama, so he took his shower, dressed up, and then left the house. Alex got to his working place and he couldn't concentrate. During time for lunch, he drove off to a local restaurant to eat. When he was done eating, he was about to enter into his car when someone called and walked towards his car. It was his ex-girlfriend, Kate. Good afternoon, Alex. Good afternoon, Alex answered. I saw your car. I knew you were around, so I decided to wait till you come out from wherever you were hiding, Kate said with a smile. I don't think we should be speaking with each other, given what we shared in the past, and the fact that I'm now married to your best friend, Alex said with a smile. I meant no harm, Alex. I think there is something you need to know, Kate said, smiling seductively. I'm a married man, Kate. Please don't lean so close to me. What is so important that you have to tell me? You can tell me. I'm all ears, Alex asked Kate, raising one of his brows. Years ago, when Alex was still finding his feet, He was madly in love with Kate, which was visible in every of his actions. He promised Kate he was going to make her the happiest woman if she could just have patience with him. Alex never knew that Kate was already seeing another man. The man was so rich and promised Kate that he was going to give her everything she desires if she would just say yes to him. Kate was so carried away with the money the man was throwing around on her. She ended her relationship with Alex despite the way he pleaded with her. Unknown to Kate, the man resided in the UK with his wife and kids. He looked for young ladies to spend time with whenever he comes back to Nigeria. Kate was unfortunate to fall a victim. After a few months of using Kate as both his house help and sex mate, he left her and traveled back to the UK. Kate was shattered and heartbroken. She couldn't even go back to Alex after breaking his heart. Kate couldn't bear the shame and she relocated. She used the money she got from the man from UK to open a makeup shop. That was where she met Juliana. And they became friends. 2 years went by and her best friend Juliana introduced her to a man she was going to get married to. The first day Kate set her eyes on Alex, she was shocked. Alex was surprised to find out that his wife-to-be was his ex-bestie. He didn't want his wife to know so she wouldn't feel insecure. So Alex kept it as a secret from Juliana. No, I can't tell you here. You need to come over at my place so I can tell you about it all, Kate said softly. I know where you are heading to, Kate. What we share in the past remains in the past. Please stay away from me. I'm a married man now, Alex said and entered his car. I know you'll be stubborn. I'm assuring you that I wish you give me time to tell you all I have to say. Here's my number written down in this piece of paper. Whenever you change your mind, I'll be waiting, Kate said with a smile. She dropped the piece of paper into Alex's car and he drove off. Alex drove back to his workplace. He didn't know what he was going to do with a fire burning under his roof. His wife suddenly acted up strangely and his mother was feeling offended. He couldn't tell his mother to leave his house for peace to reign. What was he going to do? Back under Alex's roof, Juliana had brought out heaps of clothes for her mother-in-law to wash. Mrs. Abisola was in her room after she was done sweeping the house. She didn't want any troubles. She had come for something important which was restraining her from taking her actions. She decided to enjoy everything that her daughter-in-law was doing. But Mrs. Abisola was surprised when her daughter-in-law came to call her from her room. She stood up and followed her only to find a heap of clothes. Yes, you have to end your stay here. It's either you do this or you go back to your own husband's house. Or, I forgot your own husband is dead. Go back and stay in his house. When you are lonely, call on to him. I'm sure his spirit will come and be with you. This house is being paid for by my own husband, Juliana said harshly. Mrs. Abisola couldn't tell when tears streamed down her cheeks, hearing those harsh words from Juliana. She didn't respond to anything she had said. If you like, stand there and be looking at me like a lost goat. Better get your hands to work and wash those clothes. After all, they belong to your son, and you have been washing his clothes, so it's not something new, Juliana said and walked into her room, leaving Mrs. Abisola outside, staring at the clothes. After a few minutes, she came out and saw that Mrs. Abisola had started washing the clothes. She felt fulfilled when she picked up her phone and called her friend Kate. She thanked her so much because things were just going smoothly, as she had told her it would. Kate encouraged Juliana to do more. Alex came back home that day looking so tired and stressed out. His wife didn't even welcome him or speak to him. Alex tried speaking with his mother, but she had already gone to bed before he came back. He felt like a stranger in his own home, which was filled with love. Alex tried to speak with his wife again, but she wasn't willing to speak to him. Alex lost appetite and didn't even eat the food she prepared. He was lost in thought. Then he remembered his meeting with Kate at noon. She said she had something important to tell him. He wondered what it was. Mrs. Abisola has pretended to be asleep. When her son came back, she didn't want him to see the tears that streamed down her cheeks. Juliana, her daughter-in-law, was speaking to her harshly. She doesn't want to place her son in a difficult position where he has to choose between her and his wife. Mrs. Abisola ate her own tears that night. She wasn't hungry and didn't eat the food Juliana had served her. She quietly took it back into the kitchen and covered it before retiring to bed. Alex couldn't sleep. He was going through some mental stress. He couldn't find peace in his house. He remembered how loving his wife was before his mother came to his house. He can't tell his mother, who sacrificed it all for him, to leave his house. In the midst of the confusion, Alex wondered why Kate was looking at him lustfully. He didn't want to stay close to her because she had broken his heart. But then, he loved Kate so dearly. He never knew he was going to really move on after she left him. The love he had for Kate was what he transferred to his wife. But his wife was beginning to take him for granted over something that wasn't even supposed to be an issue. He wondered what Kate really wanted to tell him that was important. If I go to see Kate in her house, I don't think I can push her away from me because a part of me that love her is still alive. I need to know what she wants to tell me. I can even ask her to talk to her friend on my behalf. I will have to call her tomorrow, Alex said within himself. He stared at his wife, who was already fast asleep. Then he left the room. He slept on the sofa inside the living room. The next morning, Juliana woke up and saw her husband sleeping on the couch inside the sitting room. She didn't even bother to wake him up or ask why he slept in the living room for the first time ever since they got married. She sat beside him and switched on the television. It was the sound of the voices inside the television that woke Alex up. He looked at his wife. She looked back at him and removed her eyes. Alex was really pained by the action of his wife. So you can't even greet me in the morning. You couldn't even ask me why I slept on the couch instead of the bed, Alex asked his wife. Oh, you want me to ask you why you slept on the couch? No, boss, this house is yours and you can decide to sleep anywhere you want. Besides, you are the one keeping strangers inside the same house. You didn't even eat the food I suffered to prepare. I don't even want to talk this morning. Better leave me alone, Juliana said and focused on the television she was watching. So I bring strangers into my home? My own mom is who you are referring to as. Well, it's okay, Alex said and left the living room. He took his shower and got ready for work. When he was done, he tried to knock on the door to the guest room, but it was still very early in the morning and he didn't want to disturb his mother. He decided he would see her when he comes back in the evening. Then Alex left the house with his wife still sitting in front of the television. As soon as Alex drove off, Juliana stood up from where she was seated and began to knock on the door of the guest room. She was beginning to enjoy what she was doing. Madam, stand up, it's morning already, Juliana said as she knocked. No one answered the door. Juliana got angered and banged on the door even more. Mrs. Abisola answered the door after a few minutes. She was a bit shaky and her body temperature was high. Good morning, my daughter, Mrs. Abisola said with shaky lips. Who is your daughter? So you allowed me to keep on knocking here while you keep sleeping? If you want to sleep as you want, go back to your husband's household. This place can't contain the two of us.
Juliana said harshly to Mrs. Abisola, "Please, I'm not feeling fine at all. I need to eat and take some drugs." Mrs. Abisola said slowly, "Oh, you want drugs? Did you give me any money to buy drugs for you? I saved you food yesterday from my kind heart and you didn't even touch it. Well, the food is still there in the kitchen waiting for you. Go ahead and carry it and eat so you don't die under my roof. See how you are shaking. Pretender. Better don't switch on my gas cooker in the name of warming the food. Eat it the way you left it. Next time you will know my effort. I won't take them for granted." Juliana walked back and sit on the cushion chair. Mrs. Abisola walked to the kitchen slowly, with her body shaking like someone who was beaten by a cold rain. "Some people will keep on pretending. I'm a sharp lady, and I know pretense when I see one," Juliana said, then hissed. She went back to the movie she was watching. "You came all the way from the village just for me? Did I call you? Did I tell you your presence was of so much importance to me? If you don't want to eat the food anymore, then go back to your house in the village. And no dear, you can cook and eat as you want," Juliana said harshly again and continued with the movie she was watching. Mrs. Abisola stood up slowly and walked into her room, wiping her tears. "See this woman, oh. She came all the way from the village just for my sake. Did I call her? Wait, oh, wait. I hope she hasn't come to tamper with my baby. Please, oh, if they have sent you, tell them that you didn't see me. Please go back to the village, oh. I don't want you here. Nonsense witch," Juliana said and relaxed back to continue watching her movie. Her phone began to ring. She checked and it was Kate calling. Kate asked her to give her updates about how the plan is going. Juliana was so happy and kept on thanking Kate. She was so happy and never knew she could have so much power and control over everyone. Kate asked her to intensify everything, whatever she was doing, as that was the only way to send her mother-in-law out of the house. Liana hung up the call, looking so happy. She began to think of other things she could do as Kate had suggested. After a few hours, Juliana walked into Mrs. Abisola's room. The door was open, so she walked in. "Why did you urinate on the floor? Isn't the toilet bowl big enough for you? Must you keep everywhere dirty and smelly? Stand up immediately and go wash the toilet," Juliana said, folding her face. "What is wrong with you, Juliana? Can't you see that I'm not feeling fine? I haven't eaten since morning. I haven't taken any drugs. I'm still struggling and you want me to go wash the toilet. Please, can you have pity on me, even if it's just for today? If I were to be your mother, will you treat me the way you are treating me?" Mrs. Abisola asked. "You can never be my mother. My mother won't come into my house without taking permission from me or my husband. If you want to be treated right, go back to your husband's house. I know why I'm leaving you today. If you try that nonsense in my toilet next time, you will see what I will do to you," Juliana said and walked out, leaving Mrs. Abisola all alone in her pains. Later in the evening, Alex came back with his mind made up. He was going to speak to both his mother and his wife together. He needed his peace at home back. He was also going to use the opportunity to tell his wife about Kate. He knows if he doesn't tell his wife and keeps it all a secret, he was going to fall back into Kate's arms. Alex bought some gifts for his wife. When he walked into the house, his wife wasn't in the living room as he expected. He kept the gift he bought on the table and went to the guest room to see his mother. Alex was shocked to see his mother shaking like someone who slept outside in the cold. Alex quickly walked to where his mother laid on the bed. "Mama, your temperature is so high. When did it start?" Alex asked, feeling his mother's temperature. "It started since morning. Since morning I haven't been myself. Oh," Mrs. Abisola said with her teeth clashing against each other. "I hope my wife gave you food and some drugs?" Alex asked. Mrs. Abishola shook her head as her body kept shivering. Christ, since morning the fever started, you haven't eaten or taken any drugs? Mama, I'm coming, Alex said and then walked out of the house quickly. He entered into his house and drove off. Alex came back a few minutes later with a plate of food and some drugs. Juliana was done in the bathroom and was in the living room when Alex walked past her with the food and drugs he bought. He helped his mother eat some food. When she ate the quantity she could finish, he gave her the drugs he bought. Alex apologized to his mother for being careless with her and promised he was going to make sure she gets better real soon. Alex walked out of the guest room and met his wife sitting in the living room. You want to kill my mother for me? You are so wicked. So you knew that Mama was sick and you didn't give her any food or drug. For this action of yours, instead of Mama to leave this house, you be the one leaving, Alex said angrily. Juliana wanted to speak back to Alex. He raised his hands high up in anger, then brought it down, breathing heavily. He walked into his room. Juliana got a bit scared. That wasn't the plan. She never wanted to leave her house. All she wanted was for her mother-in-law to be ejected by her husband. Now it's turning around. She immediately picked up her phone. It was time to send Kate a message. Kate, there is fire on the mountain. Oh. My mother-in-law got sick after washing all the clothes and bed sheets I made her wash. In order to suffer her, I didn't give her any food or medication. Now my husband just found out and he is threatening to throw me out of his house for neglecting his mother. What should I do? I'm scared. Juliana tapped and sent it to Kate. She held her phone tight with her heartbeat racing as she waited for Kate to give her a reply. She was already lost and scared and didn't know what else to do. Juliana's phone beeped and it was a message from Kate. And it reads, "Why are you scared? I can feel your fear from here. You don't have to be scared. Your husband is only trying to make you come beg him for forgiveness. Don't do that. He can't chase you out of his house. You are his wife and you are carrying his child, a male child for that matter. His threats are just empty. Don't fall for them. Remember the home is yours. You are in charge and no one can change that. You will wake up to tell me that I was right if you do what I asked you to do. Take charge, baby girl." Juliana read the message and her confidence got boosted. She stood up and walked into the room. She didn't speak to her husband who sat on the bed and manipulating his phone. She laid on the bed and faced the wall. Alex looked at his wife for a while. He stood up and left the room to the living room. Alex went occasionally to check on his mother and she seems to be getting better. The next morning, Alex made breakfast for his mother. He made sure she ate and took her drugs before he left the house. He hadn't made up his mind what he was going to do with his wife. A few minutes after Alex left the house, Juliana walked into the guest room. She had woken up feeling happy. Once again, Kate was right, and her husband didn't throw her out of the house. She was really in charge and was going to deal with her mother-in-law for what she told her son, which made him angry. "So you have made up your mind to destroy my marriage. First, you came here uninvited. Now you lie against me. What did you tell my husband I did to you?" Juliana asked with one of her hands on her waist. "My daughter, please, I said nothing to your husband. You can't keep on treating me this way. I came here for you, Juliana. If I leave this house, you will... I will do what? I will die? Is that what you want to say? Oh, they have sent you to kill me. No wonder you said you came because of me. Let me tell you, you and all your witches won't see me or my unborn baby. Leave my house, so go back to your husband's house. This one that my husband said his father died early. I'm suspecting you. Maybe you killed your husband. You can't harm me or my child," Juliana said harshly in a loud tone. Mrs. Abisola had nothing else to say, only tears streaming down her cheeks. Juliana has been pushing her to the wall ever since she came to her son's house. If her daughter ever found out what was going on, she was going to personally beat Juliana up, but all she wanted for her family is peace. Alex got to his workplace with his mind occupied. He wondered what happened to his sweet wife. She was really tempting him and drawing out his hands. He forbade himself from laying his hand on a woman, but he almost lost it when it concerned his mother's life. Even after everything, she never apologized or showed any remorse for what she did. Alex's phone beeped. He checked the message and it was from Kate. That was the third time she was sending him messages to know how he was doing. He hasn't replied to any of those messages. Alex wanted to keep his phone and ignored when he saw another message from Kate. I feel you are troubled. Can you confide in me and let me be your peace? I love you, Alex. I hope you text me back this time. Alex read the message over and over again. Of a truth, he hasn't found peace ever since his mother came under his roof. He wondered how Kate knew he was troubled, but the fact that she cared and noticed he wasn't happy was something he admired. He picked up his phone and replied Kate's message. When Kate saw Alex's message, she stood up from where she was seated in happiness. My turn to play, Kate said, smiling to herself. Juliana, I'm coming for your home. Your husband is falling for me slowly, and the next thing is for him to get me pregnant. If that happens, I will give him the peace you couldn't give him. Kate said to herself again and sat down in front of the mirror in her shop admiring herself. Alex sent him a message saying he wanted to see her at that very moment. He also told her he wouldn't see her at her place because he didn't want something funny to happen. Kate was happy because if he continued visiting her, it would surely end up on her bed. Kate told Alex to come see her at her makeup shop. She sent him the address and then waited for him impatiently. It didn't take too long and Alex arrived at Kate's shop. She was alone. It looks like she either had no customer to attend to or she sent them away. Kate gave Alex a seat after greeting him respectfully. She spoke to him calmly, respectfully, and with so much emotions attached. That was exactly what Alex wanted from his wife. She wouldn't even speak to him or listen to what he has to say. As the conversation went on, a connection began to spark between the two. Their lips began to attract each other. Someone walked into the shop and Alex stood up. He left the shop in a haste. He doesn't know what was coming over him. How could he go back to his ex, leaving his pregnant wife at home? Alex remembered his sick mother and decided to go see her. He bought some food and drove back home with it. When Alex got back home, his wife wasn't at home. He called her, but she hung up all his calls. Alex gave his mother the food he came back with. He called his wife again and she hung up his call. If Juliana has arrived in Kate's shop about 5 minutes earlier, she would have walked in on her husband and her best friend. Juliana, you came? Kate said, sighing in relief. Yes, Kate, I don't know what is going on anymore. I think this is no longer something we have to discuss on phone. My mother-in-law is becoming a thorn in my flesh. At times, I wish I never started any of this. I wish I just stayed peacefully with everyone. At times, I do pity my husband because of what I'm making him go through. I miss my husband's sweetness, Kate, Juliana said in a calm, emotional tone. What is this one you are doing? You want to become soft? After coming this far, you want to stop. This is the final push, Juliana. This is the time for you to remove that woman from your house and have your husband all to yourself. If I were you, I will make sure she doesn't get better, Kate said, demonstrating. My back hurts and no one wants to rub it at night. I need to make this woman go back quickly. I miss my husband, Juliana said and stood up to leave. Wait, Juliana, I bought this calcium for you. I want you to give birth to a strong baby, Kate said and handed the powder substance to Juliana. Juliana took the little container from Kate and thanked her for being so thoughtful. Then she left Kate's shop. Kate held her heart. She was scared that Juliana might have seen her husband's car parked in front of her shop. She has added some poisonous substance into the bottle of calcium she gave to Juliana. She knew a day was going to come when Juliana would begin to have doubts. So she was prepared. Juliana just perfected her plans by coming to her shop. No one was going to know where the calcium came from or who gave it to Juliana. The poison was going to kill Juliana and her unborn child slowly. Then she would take over by giving Alex a shoulder to cry on. I'm such a genius. Everything going just perfectly well. Oh, I can't wait to answer Mrs. Alex, Kate said, giggling. Juliana came back home and could smell her husband's perfume. She knew that her husband had visited home. Juliana was happy with the way her husband met her absence. That way, he would feel jealous and insecure. He was surely going to come beg her on his knees. She walked into the guest room and met her mother-in-law asleep. She had new plans for her. I know you are not sleeping. You are just pretending because that is what you always do. Which, Juliana said, hissed and walked back to the sitting room. She brought out the bottle of calcium Kate gave her and placed it on the table. She opened it and poured it out on a palm, then licked a portion. I can't lose her too. I can't go back to the village. The signs are so strong. And I just have to endure it all so I don't lose my unborn grandson. Mrs. Abisola murmured to herself in tears. Mrs. Abisola remembered so many years ago. She has this rare ability to see the death of a loved one before it happens. It first started when she was much younger. She had this feeling that her older brother was going to lose his life if he goes out with his friends. She warned her brother not to go, but she wasn't feeling okay. Her brother told her that nothing was going to happen and he left the house that day with his friends. They brought the dead body of her brother back home. He was hit by a stray bullet. After the death of her brother, she never felt the death of any loved one again. So many years passed and she was already married with 2 kids. One night, she had a dream where her husband left for work and never came back. She woke up and told her husband not to leave for work that day. She narrated her dreams to her husband and how she felt. He told her that it was just a male dream and nothing was going to happen to him. Her husband left the house that morning and met with a fatal accident before he could get to his workplace. About a week ago, those feelings started again. This time, she saw her son shedding tears and holding the dead body of his wife. She didn't see him carrying her grandson either. Mrs. Abisola didn't know what killed Juliana and her son. She wanted to call Alex and tell him about it all, but she couldn't bring herself to tell her son that his wife was going to lose her life. Mrs. Abisola decided to come stay in her house and try to wave off anything that would bring harm to his wife and unborn child. She didn't know where the danger could come from, but she didn't want to mourn the death of Juliana and her unborn grandson. I just have to endure it all. I know he's already close and the devil wants me to go back, but I will endure it all for my son's sake, Mrs. Abitola said, and tears streaming down her cheeks. She had this feeling suddenly that something was not right. Mrs. Abisola stood up and walked into the sitting room immediately. She saw Juliana licking some white substance she had poured out from a little bottle. Mrs. Abisola took the bottle and broke it on the floor without hesitation. She didn't know why she did that, but she just felt something was not right. Hey, are you high or something? How dare you break my bottle of calcium? Oh, your son came and gave you morale to do as you like, right? I said it, that you weren't sleeping.
Pretender, thank God you've exposed yourself. I will go inside and into my room and come out. If you don't provide this calcium you just broke, you will see what I will do to you. Which, Juliana said, and tried walking into her room. She suddenly felt a sharp pain below her abdomen. Thank you for watching this story.
Hi besties, what moral lesson did you learn from this story? Kindly share your thoughts with me in the comment section. Like this story, share this story to someone who might be interested, and subscribe to this YouTube channel if you've not done so by now. Until I bring an interesting and exciting story your way. Bye!